Well, hi, Bill. Welcome to 700 Club Canada.
Lori, so good to see you. Good to be back on 700.
Absolutely.
We love you guys.
Oh, and we love you too. Our ministries have been united and partnering for many years. So, what a privilege it is to have you here. Bill, I want you to take us back. I want you to tell us how it all started. How did your ministry start in Canada?
Well, what a question. Do we have a few days here? Well, let me say, first of all, your partners need to know that your partnership with us is helping change Canada, particularly the North. And so we just say thank you so much. Well, I'm born and raised here, born in Hamilton, Ontario, raised here in a church all my life, but at 18 met Jesus, filled with the Spirit of God, called to the ministry, which I really fought because I had nothing to offer. Anybody with success in ministry could sing, they could play instruments, they were good in front of people. I had nothing. And after a few months of saying no, he just kept saying, "You're going to do it." I said yes. And it's amazing what God can do when you just give him your life. And so we went to Bible school. We started ministering during Bible school in a native reserve just outside Peterborough, between Peterborough and Cobourg, called Alderville, because God had called me to preach. And it's a little frustrating when God calls you to preach and nobody will have you preach. They said, the Bible school said, they sent teams out every weekend. And I said, "I want to go. What do you do?" I said, "What do you mean? Do you sing? No. Do you play instrument? No. What do you do?" "I preach." They said, "Well, give us a list of all the churches you preached in, and then, we'll get the references." I said, "Well, I haven't preached anywhere, but God's called me to preach." And they said, "Well, we're not going to send you." So I found out if I went out there, in the homes every Sunday, went out with a group, and Gwen and I ended up leading that the last 2 years of Bible school. I could preach. But you know what, Lori? I fell in love with the people. I started to understand a bit of their culture. I fell in love. That was back in 1964. So way before you, way before most people were born. And then we launched out of Bible school, started pastoring. We built a church in Omimi, not too far from Peterborough, Ontario. And then we went to Quebec and pastored, and God called us after that to the Ottawa Valley, beautiful Ottawa Valley. And I just figured that's what we'd be doing the rest of our life. I was nice to evangelists when they came through. We'd have them, we'd try to bless them. But I said I would never be an evangelist because I didn't like traveling and I didn't like being away from home. And and I didn't have a ministry as an evangelist. And then I went on a trip in 1972 with a group of people down to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Catherine Coleman was having a service, Friday morning service, as she did. And in that service, I didn't have an encounter with her. I had an encounter with Holy Spirit, and it changed my life, Lori. And I made a decision. I'd give the rest of my life pursuing him. And when we came home, just out of that pursuit, that relationship that I'd started, people started getting healed on the bus, then back at our church in Beachburg, and it just exploded. Buses were coming from Ottawa to Little Beachburg to be in the meetings, and we had to move into the United Church. But this is the answer to your question. I had a vision in those days. It was a night I wasn't in meetings, sat on a rock overlooking Muskrat Lake in the Ottawa Valley Pentecostal camp. I was actually directing the camp at that time. And I saw Canada. I saw Canada in revival. I saw it in such detail. Stadiums filled with young people and older people worshiping God and seeing miracles happen. I saw 1,000 young people on the streets of Ottawa doing the work of God, seeing miracles happen. I saw the glory of God coming on Parliament Hill and Parliament stopping. And then I saw the North ablaze for God. And I knew that's what God was going to do. Lori, that was 50 years ago this year. I knew God was going to do it, and I knew I'd give my life to it. And so that's been our mission for 50 years. And this is Jubilee time, so good time to see it fulfilled. And we're beginning to see the vision I had happen in reality.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
This is what God does. He uses us who, with no ability, and he says, in my strength, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to serve me. And Bill, first of all, thank you for your faithfulness. Thank you for keeping that vision that God gave you. Truly, God is doing great things in Canada. Tell me quickly, what do you believe God is doing right now in this nation? And then we'll come back with part two, but just tell me quickly, what's he doing? What do you see God doing?
Quickly there. Well, you know what? I've been saying for 50 years, Canada shall be saved. I knew it. People tried to talk me out of it. They couldn't because I'd seen it. Lori, if you can see it, you can believe for it. Oral Roberts used to teach us, if you can see the invisible, you can do the impossible. But during the truckers' convoy, Jacob, who we're going to meet in just a minute, and my assistant, and so many hundreds of young adults around the streets of Ottawa, not protesting, but doing the work of God. And they were FaceTiming me from all over the city. And I said to my wife, I've seen it. I've seen them do this. 50 years ago, I saw them before they were born doing it. So I changed and I said, Canada is being saved. What we're seeing right now from coast to coast is an outpouring of the Spirit of God like I've never seen, a hunger like I've never seen. I've never been more encouraged. I've never been more excited. And I'm just thrilled to be part of it.
Well, on the 700 Club Canada, our mission is to proclaim, to tell the good news of what God is doing in Canada. So this is such encouragement. There's far too much negative talk about the church, and the church is struggling, and Jesus said the gates of hell will not prevail against the church. I believe the church is on fire now. And and if we will step into what God is doing, we can all be a part of it. So we're going to come right back with Bill, and Jacob Waldo's going to join us. Jacob is his assistant, and they are on mission. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned.